So, we're on a roll. There's been some progress. I haven't really done much since yesterday. I've established that there is a fair amount more stuff than I thought I had. And I have found some resources that are good for the sort of like how to create a show, not just in terms of what to perform, which this isn't what that is, but in terms of how to create a backdrop for a camera, lighting, what kind of equipment you need to beg, borrow, or steal. So that's nice. I have not finished the Excel stuff that I was going through, the database that I wanted to create, because I ended up spending the rest of yesterday cooking, which was not the intended plan, and then sorting out laundry and various other bits and bobs, which means that I didn't really get anything else done yesterday at all, which was rather annoying. So I think the best thing for me now is to keep working on the database, and I need to work on saying and less. Kind of takes away from moments. Where's my pen? So yeah, I will get on with that. And if there's anything worth talking about, you'll hear about it, I guess, because I'll stop and talk. This one's going to be interesting, though. So, I love how I start everything with so. Such a great way of doing it. I am midway through the database thing, I think. I've kind of split them into a lot of different filterable things. Thought I was kind of there, deliberately taking an L on one of the things and just sort of having it as a block to do later. But I need to stop trying to have flow of consciousness idea, thought, talky the whole time, because it just ends up being weird. I then remembered that there's another website that I use to purchase Magic and Downloads, so I'm now going on to that one. And hopefully when I finish off that, I'll have a better idea of things. I feel that this might have been a bit of a waste of time now that I've spent 2 hours or so on it total. For my short-term goals, my long-term goals, probably very helpful. And I think that this database will grow with more details over time, because there are some that I've come across which are projects more than anything else, like I forgot to click the I'm not a robot thing. So, for example, with a big project, with the big project, obviously there's multiple tricks and routines and ideas within it. Wow, there's quite a lot on this. Why is that a watchable thing? Anyway, for larger scale projects, obviously there will be multiple tricks within it, and it's all very well classifying something as a project, but that's a rather broad outline, when in fact maybe detail might be better. So I might add a column to be like, is it part of a project, or something like that. But as it is, I'm looking at this now, and I've got a little bit more to do with just the adding of stuff. Then I'm going to have a look over at the shelf of magic stuff I have here, check if there's nothing really that I've missed, and then go into the hard drive of Doom, because as mentioned yesterday, it's interesting to see how some of the downloads and videos that I did have access to, I no longer have access to online. So we shall see how and what that entails. I also have a bag of stuff to go through as well. So yes, a fair amount still to do. Here we go. So again, I'm looking at this and I'm realizing that I've got a lot more than I thought I had material-wise. I already thought I had a lot, and that's not counting books and, as I said, all the stuff that's back in the UK. So I think that I need to be a bit more discerning, potentially, not with what I perform, but with, obviously I need to be discerning with what I'm performing, but more with what is worth looking at right now. What is it that is worth looking at? Because currently I'm on 114, right? With just this alone, just looking at the stuff I thought of off the top of my head that I performed quite a lot, plus downloads from 3 different websites, plus various bits and bobs. I'm not including books here. I'm not even including books. I'm just doing plain and simple, basic tricks or downloads or whatever. So at some point, I think it would be a good idea for me to go through the books that I have and outline what's in them, what they say trick-wise, because I got like a couple of really, really good books at home back in the UK, but most of them aren't here. And to be fair, on the flip side, a lot of the ones that are here are not trick books, they're theory books. I have a limited amount of time to get this done. And I think it's a really, really, really good idea having this database. I think genuinely think it's a really good idea. I'm a bit curious that there's quite so many downloads that I've got that I do not remember at all buying. And I'm sure when I get home and I look through my box properly, there's going to be a good-ish chunk of stuff that I've not looked at, that I've completely forgotten I have bought. Because the most basic show possible is you just do card stuff, and that's not a bad thing or a good thing, it's just card stuff. Maybe I'll look at the Dottiers stuff. The more recent Dottiers stuff. The fullest Dottiers stuff, because I can frame that as a really, really, really different thing, and that would be interesting. And then Wikitest. It's a little bit of snow blindness, honestly, which I've given myself. You know, that's the most irritating thing, is I've created the snow blindness for myself. Because, you know, I got Luke Osland's book. That's full of great stuff, but I'm not sure it's full of stuff that necessarily fits. I mean, it's a good jumping off point for ideas. Yeah, wow, I really am showing my neurodivergence with this one, aren't I? Categorize it all. We must have it all written down. So, I have no idea what the point of this was. I was going to say something about how I'm going to give myself snow blindness by doing this, but I think I've already given myself snow blindness. So it's like, why stop now? Why stop now, indeed? This database is a good idea, and I like it. Is it worth my time, is the question. That's basically, at its core, the question. Is it worth the time I'm spending on it right now? And I'm leaning towards no. However, I'm also aware that I don't really know where to start elsewise with the trick. Or tricks in general. I'll put fast forward bits in here so you don't have silence. Okay, I think the conclusion is I'll work on this database till the end of today, and then I just go from there, and I see what happens, what I do, and I see if I come out with a few tricks that would work really well or work really effectively, and if not, then I put this aside for now and come back to it at a time more appropriate. So here we go. So I've done pretty much nothing here. It's not been that helpful or useful particularly. 17. And I've had no interesting comments to add, so I think I will just cut out most of this and merge it to the next video. See you tomorrow. So this is me 20 minutes, half an hour after finishing the video recording from earlier. Came to the conclusion that essentially there was no point in what I was trying to do in sort of making these little subtables that all connected and automatically added them stuff to themselves, because I can just do it on the main thing. It's be a bit more convenient to do what I wanted it to do, but kind of largely pointless. This has ended up being an exercise in databasing rather than what it should have been. So a bit of a waste today as a whole, because bit of a waste. I think there's one thing I can do that's relevant and for it, and that will be for the project stuff, the larger stuff that's got more information to it. But as a whole, not a great use of my time, waste of a couple of hours, but it's a better waste of a couple of hours than me sitting on my phone YouTube-wise. So, yeah, bit of an L today, but there we are. That's just life. That's just life. Sometimes you make mess ups like that. Yeah, I don't know how this project has ended, how this has ended up turning into a database essentially, but there we are. I'm gonna mess around with this for another. I'm gonna set a timer for like 5 minutes, and then yeah, get on with other stuff, because it's about almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had a lecture that wasn't a lecture and then got distracted for today, but I've done some other useful stuff. Anyway, see you tomorrow.